In 2024, I set out to pay my bills on time every single month because I wanted to reduce my stress, I wanted to save money, and I wanted to contribute to a higher credit score that you guys know that I am also working on. I was tired of the text messages, the calls, the late payment fees, all of those things that come with paying your bills late, and I wanted it all gone. And I'm here to tell you, in 2024, I successfully paid all of my bills on time, and I'm going to share with you guys the secret sauce on what I did to make sure that I paid my bills on time. And then I'm also going to be sharing with you guys what I'm going to do in 2025 to ensure that I pay my bills on time. Let's get into it. Well, first and foremost, I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas. This video is coming out on the day of Christmas. I really do hope that you guys are enjoying your friends, your family, all of your loved ones, but you are remembering the reason that we celebrate Christmas, and that is celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. If you don't know him, I will be more than happy to introduce you to him. But I want to wish you and your family a Merry Christmas, but also to remember that our Savior was born. And it may not have been on Christmas the day, but he was born, okay? He was born to come on this earth and save you and me. And so I want to wish you all a very lovely Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's get into the details of what we're talking about today. All right, you guys, so last year I put out a video on how I was going to pay my bills on time, and here I am a year later, and I am so happy to share with you guys that if you see this bill tracker here, you will see that I paid my bills on time every single month. And let me tell you, there are some benefits to doing that. Just benefits all over. So I am going to share with you guys exactly what I did, and then just give you some helpful tips just in case you find it to be a bit difficult to pay your bills on time. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing that I needed to do is I needed to understand all of the bills that I had, okay? And that's where this bill tracker comes in. I had to write down all of my bills, all of my memberships, all of my subscriptions, whether they were due monthly, bi-monthly, whether they were due yearly, or every quarter, whatever it was. I had to have a place where I tracked that, and as you can see, that is here in the bill tracker. So for the year 2025, I am going to complete this again. I actually did complete it somewhat here, but I need to write it over again because it's not in order. And I like things decent and in order. So I am going to be writing down my bills again, and then we will come back and we will talk about it. Take a look at my bill tracker, and I'm really just want to give myself a round of applause once again for decreasing my bills in 2025 or 2024. That was a goal. As you can see, I had just a page full of bills, and I was able to decrease my bills by paying a lot of the debt that I had off and then moving some of them to annual. It was just, yeah, I'm just super excited. And in 2025, I plan to reduce this even more if I can. So here on my bill tracker, I am able to list out all of the bills that I have. For this actual tracker, this is only bills that I have monthly, or like a bill that I have due every other month. Now I do have a subscription, a membership and subscription reminder worksheet that I'm gonna complete as well, so that I can remind myself when these bills are due. So monthly, I look at my bill tracker, which reminds me what bills I have due and the day that the bills are due on. I have the amount of the bill, and then here I also have the payment method, but the method for me, I just like to indicate here where the money is gonna come from. So for example, my mortgage, this money is gonna come from my mortgage account. And then the rest of these bills that you see here is gonna come from my bills account. So as it relates to payment method, that's what I put here. And then I also enter here if the bill is on auto pay. If it is not a check mark by it, then that means that I need to manually go in and make that payment. This is on auto pay as well. So as you can see, the bills that I have that are set amounts, those I feel very comfortable with putting those bills on auto pay. Anything that is not a set amount, I do not have it on auto pay. Now, I do have Apple on auto pay, so I'm actually going to put a check mark here. I have this on auto pay for the minimum amount, although I do make the full payment every month, but I have it on auto pay just in case I forget to make the payment. Then that auto pay does happen, so that way I don't have a late payment that will generate on my credit report. I hope that that made sense. Before my electric, my water, all of my utility bills, as you can see, I need to manually go in and I need to make those payments, okay? And here where there's a grid that shows the month paid, every single month that I successfully make a payment, I go in and I check that month off. That is a way that I am able to go back and hold myself accountable to me successfully paying those bills. And as you can see in this sheet, there's a whole lot of check marks. Unless I had actually paid it in full, then you didn't see any more check marks. But for the most part, I had a lot of check marks up until December is not over yet, so I do have to go in and check this here, and as well as November. But yes, I did phenomenal. I'm so proud of myself because this was a goal of mine for 2024. Now, the next thing that I have, which is important, is the memberships and the subscriptions. And let me tell you why this is important. As it relates to my memberships, I have 2 memberships, and those memberships are, let's see, Costco, AAA, well, I guess I have more. I have 4. I have Costco, AAA, Clear, and Amazon Prime. Now, these are paid yearly, and the reason why these are important is because it's not anything that I will be late. Well, a lot of these are also on annual, are on auto pay actually, with the exception of Costco and AAA. These 2 are not on auto pay, but Clear and Prime is on auto pay. So if I am not careful, then there could be a situation where this auto pays and then I'm looking in my account like, whoa, I didn't know that money was gonna come out. And if you look at Clear, that's $189. Like, that's a lot of money. And then Prime, that's a lot too, $149.77 for the year. So it's very important that you also have this documented as well. And then as far as these subscriptions, a lot of these subscriptions you will see that I have paid, I'm on a promo. So I'm on a promo for all of these. So it's very important for me to know the date that the promo went into effect so that I can go in and cancel the subscription for the next year. So I know in November, these are all of the ones that I got. I'll need to go in, well, for Hulu, Disney, and Peacock, I'll need to go in and make sure that I cancel the service so that I'm not paid what the normal rate is, which is, I know for Peacock, I think it's like $79.99 for the year, and we're not doing that. So it is important to keep track of these subscriptions. So I'm gonna write this down really quick and then we'll come right back. So I am glad that I completed this over again because I didn't have it completed correctly. So I do have some monthly costs as it relates to my subscriptions, but as far as the memberships, all of those are annual, and then one of the subscription is an annual subscription over there. So I have this here just to remind myself of these annual costs that come up. And I will have these they'll be moving in my binder each month. I will move it to each month. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so that is everything as it relates to my bill trackers and my monthly memberships and subscriptions, or annual, whatever it is. So I want to also get into one of the things that I did to make sure that I paid my bills on time. And one of the things is created a bill pay system. I pay my bills for the most part on payday. I pay all of the bills that I have within that 2-week time frame of when I am paid. That is when I had a traditional job. Well, I guess anyway. So when I had a job, when I was paid every 2 weeks, I would pay all of my bills on payday. Now that I am unemployed and I'm receiving supplemental pay as well as unemployment, I am paying my bills up for anywhere from like 2 to 3 weeks up at a time, because I'm in the state that I'm in now. I have inconsistent income coming in. And so with that, I am making my payments on the day that I receive that money. I sit down, and everything that is on auto pay, I allow that to auto pay out of my account. If it is not on auto pay, I sit down and I manually make that payment on the day that I receive the money. That way I'm not going back into my account and, throughout the pay period or throughout the, until I receive my next check, trying to remember what bills are due or, etc. That way you have peace of mind during that pay period time. You're not receiving text messages. You're not receiving emails. You're not receiving phone calls of these late payments that you do have. And it can be quite a headache. And so that is what I do to make sure that I pay my bills on time. I just pay them up. I could be paying my bill up almost a month ahead of time, and that is okay as long as it is paid. Okay, so create a system of a day that you will go in and you will make your payments. The second thing that I do is I go in and I inspect what I expect. You guys will see on my channel that I do have weekly check-ins, I have bi-weekly check-ins, I have budget closeouts, because it is important that you go back just to make sure that you're doing what you said you were going to do. There are times when life gets busy, there's times when things are going on, and you may have missed that scheduled sit down that you have for yourself to make your payments. But when you have your 1 week check-in, you'll say, oh man, let me go ahead and pay this bill, this bill, this bill, because I forgot, or, you know, there was an emergency that happened and you weren't able to get to it. So when you are doing those check-ins, you are also creating checks and balances and holding yourself accountable to making your payments on time. The next thing that I do, and this is huge, especially when it comes to my mortgage. So this is going to be essential when you have larger bills due. For example, your mortgage, your car note, your rent, anything like that. I will definitely suggest that you do this. And this is called the half bill method. I think that's what it's called. If it's not, I just made it up, okay? So basically, my mortgage, every time that I am paid, I take half of my mortgage and I put it up. And then the next time that I'm paid, I take half of my mortgage and I put it up. So that way, I'm not taking my entire mortgage out of one paycheck and cause myself to default on my mortgage because A, I didn't have enough money to pay everything, because hey, a mortgage is a large amount, and if you don't have all of your money, you know, you have to wait until you get paid the next payday. So doing the split bill method has helped tremendously. So every single time you get paid, you are essentially paying that bigger bill because you're slicing it in half and you're paying 50% of it. That will also help for you if you do not make enough money to pay your bills all in one paycheck. Let me say that again. If you do not make enough money to pay your bills all in one paycheck, this method is going to help you tremendously. But yes, it is going to decrease the amount of money that you have for each paycheck. And that is okay, because at least you will be paying your bills on time. There's a situation where I know someone who struggles to pay certain bills because they don't have enough money. So what you have to do is you have to pre-plan and you have to take money from the previous paycheck. So that is a way that you're not paying your bills late every single month with certain bills. Rather it hurts your credit or not. Okay, that is important. I know that some people like to play around with that and they're like, oh, okay, well, it's not going to hit my credit, so I could be late 5 days. And you really want to get out of that habit of playing the system of when you can pay your, how late can you pay your bills. You want to get out of that mentality because it's not healthy and you could be incurring late fees and it's just not good. So the split bill method 100% works when, or helps when you don't have enough money to pay everything in one check. Also, so you won't be broke, right? So some people, let's say your rent is $700 and you're paid $1,000 every 2 weeks. If you just take that one check and pay the $700, you only got $300 left to live for a week or 2 weeks or whatnot, and that's stressful. So you take $350, set it to the side. Next check I get, take $350, set it to the side. I can pay my bills on time. Okay, so that has worked wonders for me. I've been doing it for years and I will suggest that you do it as well. But that is pretty much it. Making sure also that you have a calendar, and with your calendar, you're putting the days that you receive income, and then you put your bills down around it. So you'll know, for example, let me go to a month when I was receiving a regular paycheck. So here, let's just say I was paid on the 13th and I was paid on the 27th. Let me scroll in so you guys can see this. I was paid here on the 13th and the 27th. So what would I have done with all of the bills that I had before the 13th? I had to pay those bills with my August 30th paycheck. So with the August 30th paycheck, I had to pay all of these bills. And then on the 13th, I paid all of these bills. And then on the 27th, I paid all of the bills up until the 11th. So that is also called the the budgeting by paycheck method, where you are paying all of your bills within the pay period that you're in. So if you are paid weekly, then you would get paid here. Let's just say hypothetically, you pay all of the bills that you have for that week. And then when you paid here, you pay all of the bills that you have for that week. Unless you're able to pay it up ahead of time, I would definitely suggest that you do that. And that is what I am doing now that I have this inconsistent income coming in from every which way, okay? But that is also how I have been able to sustain in paying my bills on time now that I'm unemployed. I have not had a late payment, and that is because whatever money I get, like for example, here on the 6th, I paid as many bills as I could. It didn't matter that I'm expecting a pay here and expecting a pay here. If I was able to pay with this check all of the money, if I was able to pay all of the bills, I paid it. And let me tell you why. Because here, I didn't get all of my money. I only got half of my money. But because in November, let's go back to November. In November, when I had this paycheck, I think it was, which one was it? It may have been, well, either one. I took this money and I paid the majority of my bills. So even though I only got half of a pay in December here, all of my bills were pretty much paid for half of December because of that method that I'm using. So check out my budgeting videos, because there you will really be able to see me doing what I'm talking about in this video. But in 2025, we need to get to a point where we are no longer paying our bills late. Trust me, it's less of a headache. It's less of like stress. Like, ain't nobody got time for all that. You know, like, who got time to be stressed out over some late bills, okay? And so that is what I will definitely recommend that you do. These sheets that I have here, these came out of a digital budgeting by paycheck book that I have from the Budget Mom. So just FYI to that, if you guys have any questions about that, you can go on her website and see if she has these as free uploads or individual uploads as well. I may create one for you guys so I can just give it to you for free, but as of right now, I don't have it created. So I want you to be able to get this done and complete it before the new year. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments. I'm here on Christmas. I will be answering your questions. But thank you guys so much for your dedication. Thank you guys so much for being here all year long. I am just ecstatic, and I thank you so much for being a part of the community, and I will see you in the next video. Go be great, besties. Peace out.